So first off, I just want to go ahead and say hello to any and all my friends out there who's given me quite the support I needed at times when I felt like I had nothing to live for. It's been an up and down 2013, and so far in my life, things have gotten much, much better. I can say for the beginning half of the year, somewhat of a struggle. We'll say somewhat of a struggle. In fact, I can't even lie to myself. It was a painful wreck. Just a lot of setbacks in my own personal life, and things weren't going anywhere. And when you're not living your passion, you're not living your dream, you feel like things are missing, and that's where I was. So where am I at today? It's July of 2013. We're at the midsummer point, and things have really catapulted itself to like a level like I thought wasn't possible. And I felt, this is very funny, I kind of foreseen this stuff coming because little bits and pieces of my life were beginning to come together. My past experiences, my visions and my dreams were all like coming to like a scope where I could see like, aha, this is what I must be doing. So what my thing was that I began with this idea of becoming totally sustainable by creating a garden and coming up with ways of like surviving on your own. That mutated and transformed itself. I did do the garden I learned so much by starting my own garden, and there's things that I felt like I didn't do right, and there's things that I did awesome. So next season, even better. It started with the garden idea, and that transformed into I've always had a background of cooking and aspiring to become a chef, a quality chef. One that just has this palate of like, you taste food, you're like, man, this is good stuff, and healthy stuff too. I had the opportunity of baking fresh bread for a local church that my sister had told me about. Like, what happened was a family had lost their home and they needed basically like charity money. And I thought, man, what a great opportunity of like not only giving them bread, but also using the bread to produce funds for the church to help them out. I made 2 loaves of bread that Sunday morning, and like the response when I took it to the church and people started to slice it up and you put butter on it, like the response that was overwhelming, and I never received such like, my God, like this is incredibly delicious bread. And in my past, like I've made just numerous amounts of things for friends and family, and when I see the reaction, I thought, man, this is killer, because I can see like potentially where this can go. We all have potential in your own life. There are things that you just have a knack for, things that you're great at. Be note of them talents. Keep in mind, like that's a signal, a sign that you should maybe pursue that. I thought, man, this is incredible. Like the reactions, I keep on getting positive reinforcement. I had this idea of like, I'm cooking all this food, and the style of cuisine is vegetarian, and I thought, man, because you can make vegetarian food taste absolutely delicious. There's no doubt in my mind about it. So I thought, because I like taking food to friends, families, different occasions. I thought, man, I'm going to do this catering idea. Like, I thought to myself, here's what I thought to myself. I thought, is it possible that I can earn an income by, taking food to, like, let's say, companies, like small business companies, or, certain events for family and friends? Like, and my mind goes, yes. Here's the time, this was a couple months ago, and I began, what really shaped the path I'm on right now is the fact that I began to change the questions I asked in my head. I turned around from like asking myself, I'm like, God damn it, like why does this happen to me? Why does this always have to happen to me? How come I can't be living my dream? How come this keeps on reoccurring in my life? And when I was asking those types of questions, I didn't know that I was presupposing like why I sucked, why I couldn't get things in line. And when you ask yourself disempowering questions, you set up the game that you can't move forward. You're hitting a brick wall every time, and people have a loop back system where they keep on asking the same things over and over and over and again. You get a result. The life you want is probably not the life you want. And I began to change my own questioning. I began to think, is there a way? Is this possible? How can I improve this in my life? What other ways that I haven't looked at that I could be looking at? What is great about this? And on my refrigerator, I post a lot of questions that I would say to myself or ask myself daily. I began to develop a daily ritual of asking better questions. So that was what I began doing. I began to ask myself much better questions. It's the key to life, man. I'm telling you. Asking yourself better questions. You will see the quality of your life completely improve. So with this catering idea, I thought, man, it's possible. My mind said, absolutely it's possible. So I went to the library, I went on the internet, I did some research, and I thought, man, I gotta say up front that business was something, hearing business and entrepreneur, it only conjured up images of a businessman, it wasn't good in me. In other words, what I felt, what I was feeling is that, business, business, get that, God, I'm not going to get into business. First off, I don't really, I don't feel like I know much about it. I'm not good with numbers. The money game is just not my thing, but the tide completely turned this year when I thought, man, I can do this. There's no excuse why I couldn't, because people have done it. I'm like people, you're like people, everyone's like people. This pattern has been done before. My whole mentality completely shifted in my brain, because I haven't had for some reason, and I know it's myself, I've had difficulties obtaining employment through other businesses, filling out applications. One of the things I absolutely dread is filling out an application. Just not my thing. I've never been good in it. Maybe because I've had many jobs. It doesn't quite look good on record. But there's this one opportunity I had locally, and I will tell you the place. Locally, I live near a place called Shepherdstown, West Virginia, and nearby there's a National Forest Conservation Center, and inside that center I had found out through Craigslist that there was a job opening for to work in a kitchen and to be part of catering. And I thought, man, I was thinking this stuff, here it is, and this is the universe at its best. And I thought, oh my God, so I immediately, without even hesitation, I went over there, which is pretty close by. I grabbed the application, I came back home, I filled it out. I never filled out an application that badass before. It was beautiful. Everything was mapped out. I had, perfectly handwritten. I even took a picture because I felt so confident that I would get this job. Well, weeks later, a month later, didn't fruition. It said to me, I have to be the one, I have to be the owner of this. I have to produce my own business, because the signals I was getting was from everything was maybe getting a job and working for someone is not your thing. Maybe you need to do something higher in your life. And that's why I thought about doing catering. And I say thought because that came and that went, because I thought to myself, damn, I get great positive feedback with my cuisine. I want people to come to me. I want people to fly from all parts of the world to come to my restaurant. I know I can do this. This passion of mine of creating my own restaurant and the vibe, vegetarian cuisine. I would have a juice bar and a smoothie bar, including this, because what I was learning, man, I'm getting crazy excited again, because this is it. I feel it in myself, and when you feel something this passionate, God, it's on. My background of nutrition and looking into superfoods and super herbs, things that only further and get us forward in life. Stuff I'll just put out a few things moringa, super greens, reishi mushrooms, chaga, spirulina, bee pollen, pine pollen. The benefits of using superfoods and super herbs and mushrooms, medicinal mushrooms, you know, like you put the stuff in your body and you feel fantastic. I can see myself making a juice bar and a smoothie bar. More so in the smoothie bar, you have your, you know, you pick your whatever you want, the fruits or vegetables you want to put in the smoothie, but also you have an option, or just throw in an add-on, to put in a superfood, to put in a super herb. That way it implants the mind in the guest or the customer that, you know, they'll want to do more research. You know, what is this? You know, what is this thing? You know, what is a reishi mushroom? What is a chow? What is a cordyceps? What, you know? I mean, the people do research. Like, I was implanted with this idea from friends and family in my past. You plant seeds in people's minds, and you see the world can really come together through diet and nutrition. And so I'm a prime believer in that. What was happening is that I can't, like, okay, I know you can relate. You work with employees that don't necessarily get along with, but you're all there because you have to make some money. There's a few there that want that business to get better. There's a few there that just, you know, like I said, just does this strictly for the money. You know, and there's some people that have to be there. Some people that don't have to be there. I want to put together a restaurant that, you know, I can be the one that pulls the strings to invite the ones that can make this place thrive and flourish. The ones that have a very similar vision as mine. That's what I'm going to do. You know, I don't want to say I don't have the funds. I do have the funds. Man, the resources are all out there. It's a change of a limiting belief that, you know, well, I have to have this much money. Oh, you know, bullshit. The funds are out there. The resources are everywhere. You just got to open the scope and your mindset and your vision. You know, everything's possible. I know my grandfather. I've somewhat been genetically, I feel, imprinted, because I didn't know this, but at one time, my grandfather, he owned a restaurant called the Old Budapest Restaurant. My grandfather was friends with, like, Elizabeth Taylor, Zsa Zsa Gabor. He knew many of the senators in Washington. This guy, like, he had this, you know, he had his own, you know, following, his own, like, he would fly. It was a Hungarian cuisine restaurant. And, you know, all the Hungarian food was served there, and, like, everything was made on the farm and then shipped out to the restaurant. You know, this is exactly the way I envision it. He would fly down people from New York and from Hungary, you know, the best chefs in the world at this cuisine to work at his place. But he gave to me, before his passing, he gave me his restaurant menu. I thought, man, and at one time I was like, you know, okay, cool, great, you know. But now I see, like, there's a path that must be taken, and this is mine. I know it. I feel it. You know, and you know what? To keep the dream alive within myself, I have to take steps to make this more real. So here's what I did. I went online and I bought myself a chef uniform. You know, this video wouldn't suit us well if I didn't put this on. I gotta make this dream real. Otherwise, you know, I'll be old one day and look back and say to myself, God, why didn't I? Why, if I had all that time, why didn't I do it? Why didn't I pursue my dreams? Remember my grandfather, how he had opened up his own restaurant called the Old Budapest in Fairfax, Virginia? Well, here is the menu that he had given to me before he passed away. Where does this all go to? You might want to ask, okay, so where are you going with all this? You know, is the restaurant your final endeavor? Heck no. In fact, what I want to do is I want to go to the best culinary arts school in the world, primarily for vegetarian cuisine. In my restaurant, I want it to be a multicultural cuisine, not just vegetarian, but take other aspects, other cuisines of the world, and incorporate them into my restaurant. So it's all fascinating to me. It's all something that I've been driving for. I hope you guys the best. I know we haven't talked in a while. I love you all. I think every one of us is each a deep kindred spirit, that we all, you know, have come from somewhere. Who knows where, but we each reflect, a part of ourselves that needs to be developed, and we also reflect the parts of ourselves that we'd like to, at the end of the day, it all comes together, pretty much is what I'm trying to say, and through the help of each other. So until I make my next update, we'll talk soon. See you later. Peace.